Hi, I'm Justin.
Also, I hate the way my voice sounds, so if you can do whatever Photoshop does to voices, make me sound awesome.
And this is my lovely friend,
The beauty in the eyes of the beholder, and it's just about getting into the seat of being the beholder.
Hayley.
I don't think you have to be particularly perceptive. I just think you have to look up.
This podcast is mostly just her telling me stories.
If you expose yourself to the possibility that this might be really awkward, there can be something just really cool on the other side of it.
She thinks that her life and way of looking at things are
Oh, I was kind of waiting on you. I thought you were getting your stuff ready. You're waiting on me?
pretty normal.
You got to edit out all the misinformation about the Amish.
Maybe you can relate.
I would like a chance to re-sing the Amish Paradise.
If you want lighthearted stories
All right, you want to talk about goats?
and stream of consciousness,
I just woke up and needed some friends, and so I bought them.
then you're gonna like the Sunny Side Up podcast.
Sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up.
So, if you're at all like me, you may feel that you're living in a world that can be a bit overwhelming and confusing at times. I'm also a huge fan of podcasts, documentaries, docudramas, stories, and of just information in general. Between all of that and the social media and news, sometimes our brains can feel like they're on overload. Hayley and I hope that this podcast can be something of an antidote to all of that. Like little jello shots of joy and distraction. None of it is too serious or really too informative. Mostly it's just two friends who have conversational chemistry talking about whatever enters the minds of relatively ADHD people. We hope you enjoy.
Tell me about another callback when we were when I was sharing with you my mild feelings related to MLM.
Oh my God, I cannot believe I forgot to mention at that time. Okay, yeah. Yes. I was invited to join a pyramid scheme by a man. We had answered.
You're so special.
It was like a Craigslist run or a Facebook Marketplace run.
Yeah.
Had to buy some chickens.
As you do.
Yeah. Well, Bree got a puppy. We were gone for a couple of days on vacation. Puppy gets bored and accidentally wipes out all the favorites. We've learned not to name the chickens. Chickens don't keep. But anyway, we go to get some new chickens from this man.
Did you just like kind of puppy wash a genocide?
It was very upsetting. I don't know that emotionally I have the fortitude to unpack that. It was really sad. It is sad to lose them, but
yeah.
We went to get
and then what do you do? Because like the thing that wiped out your chickens is also
a
much
golden
beloved.
retriever.
A golden retriever?
Yeah, you can't.
How could that even be possible?
Well, he's playful,
Yeah.
and so there's chickens walking around, and it's like whack, and that's all it takes to kill a chicken. He wasn't. He
really
wasn't
wasn't being bad to him.
mutilating or eating or anything. He was just. And he didn't mess with them when we were home, so I think it was a bored dog. And you can't be mad at a dog for being a dog. It's just a thing they're going to do. But he's learned not to. It hasn't happened.
Okay. He's reformed.
It hasn't happened in, 6 or 7 months, so I think it's better now. But nonetheless, in an effort to kind of replace what was lost, we go to this man's house, and we're getting chickens. And first weird thing that we experienced on this visit was he's you have a daughter? She should meet my son. And and he's a real good boy. He's 40. He lives with us, and he's got a job, and he makes $27 an hour or whatever the wage was. I don't remember what it was, but he's telling me the boy's income potential.
I like it.
And he's a virgin. And
oh wow!
Yes.
Okay, his stock just went way up. Now, first of all, but is he having any sort of like?
My daughter is 16 years old.
Thank you.
Okay.
Like, is he checking out the clear underagedness here?
Not.
Wow.
I don't even think
is he
can.
like not Amish, but like what are we dealing with here?
Maybe. I have no idea, but he's telling me where the boy works and how he got hired, so I know where to find this kid if I wanted to make fun of him and say all this. And how does your son feel about you advertising him and soliciting? Right? What sort of dowry does your son come with? How many camels are you going to send me when I take your son? It felt like he was bartering.
I wonder if a 40-year-old virgin, if that's like, hey, Dad, when you're pitching me to, the mother of a 16-year-old, please include that piece of information. Or let's hold that one back so I get a little bit of street cred. I mean, like, where does that land?
That his dad knows that information about him was also, like...
Maybe he's sharing that with a lot of people. That could be. I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I'm a 40-year-old virgin, do I brag about that or do I keep that to myself?
I don't know, because I was like, sir, we are just here to buy chickens. And then we get our chickens, and he gave us an extra, so that was nice. It was a baby, so it wasn't really worth much anyway, but it's towards the end of the visit, he's like, by the way, have you been interested in weight loss or living longer? All the wrong things were said. And I was like, well, I guess I could be. What do you say when somebody asks you, have you given
so
some
you
serious
think I'm fat and I don't take very good care of myself? Awesome.
Painful visit. But I was like, I guess I could give some thought to it. Where is this conversation going? And I've got this, there's this thing and all the scientific research to back it up for this patch. I think it was a patch.
Yes.
And if you want to come to the Golden Corral on Thursday night, we're going to be discussing it. We're the first people in the area, so it's a wide open market. And
hold on.
It was
any meetings held at the Golden Corral, that's a hard no. Right?
Chocolate fountain, son.
Come on.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hayley,
I don't even.
Please tell me you're not frequenting Golden Corral.
I have skipped a family meal because it was going to be at the Golden Corral before. So
yeah.
And I used to like Ryan's. They had great rolls, but
yeah, embarrassingly, but I went to Ryan's when I was like in Lake City, small town, middle of nowhere, and I was a child that was being led there probably by adults that were leading me astray, clearly. So I'm not going to hold myself responsible for that business.
Before we were aware of the bacterial content of the cheese on a buffet. Yeah. I don't really love any buffet. Pizza Hut salad bar is about the extent of my love for a buffet.
There are good buffets out there.
They're just so germy.
Yeah, I know, and I don't mind germs. I eat off the floor, so I'm
That's
not.
right.
Yeah,
you are a buffet.
Yeah,
you are a buffet.
Well, like while
candidate.
you've been here, there's been it lifted, but there was the boil water advisory. Which I don't listen to anything like that. Like, of course, I'm just going to keep drinking.
No, that's where I say I live in the county, and those rednecks telling stories about swimming in the community water supply and how gross it was because there were bats floating in it. And it's like, dude, you were telling me that your sweaty redneck body was going swimming in it. I think that's the bigger concern.
That water.
And those things didn't trigger a boil water notice.
Right, there's not a real.
You cannot impress me with your city water problems because. Like minor infrastructure disruptions are nothing compared to what those of us in the fringes are experiencing.
Right. But so we're at the Golden Corral.
No, I didn't go.
No. In this story, we're getting invited to this meeting at the Golden Corral, which again, that's your first sign. Like, whatever it is, it can't be good.
I wish I could remember the name of the product because we would pull it up right now on the web and see
free advertising
see what the Better Business Bureau says about, or if there's any user reviews. I don't know, because what if it is a fantastic weight loss patch or life extender?
There's almost zero chance that some crazy old man who's selling chickens and his virgin son out of the backyard and inviting you
also
to an MLM
preacher
at Golden Corral has any, like, it can't be a good patch. I'm just, it's not impossible. It's near impossible.
Ye of little faith.
Mm-hmm.
But what if that was my good, like, that might have been my big chance and I just blew it. That might have been.
Yeah. Yeah. You could have been skinny and beautiful, I guess. That was it. That was your one moment in life and you just missed it, Hayley.
Skinny is not going to be where I like, that's never going to be my avenue. I will never have my fame or fortune built on anything that, like, you've heard me talk about food enough to know that is not whatever I can build my future on. I don't know what my future.
Who wants to be skinny anyways?
What would my future be built on? Like, where's my command? What's your I think it's obviously Swiftyism is, if that becomes a cult. That might just be my current hyperfixation. Like, I'm already kind of phasing out of that. But I'm telling you, I didn't crusade for that. The girls in my house brought that, and it was brought to me. I don't know that that's, those of us with potential ADHD, like, we hyperfixate on a thing, and those dopamine receptors go off, and that's just what we do for a moment. And then after time subsides, we're like, okay. And then we go find our next fix.
I do the same thing.
That might have just been a temporary thing. Y'all just caught me at the peak of the wave.
All right.
I'm so sorry
Anything
for everybody
more that we need to know about old dude, 40-year-old virgin?
No, I mean, we dipped out. I couldn't tell you the rest of the story.
Okay, yeah.
That was it.
Right.
It was an amusing interaction, but when we're talking about MLMs, I should have mentioned my most recent invitation to join one didn't even come from a boss babe. It came from, like, a preacher selling chickens in his front yard.
Oh, a preacher. Wow. This gets better. Now I'm, who is the Bible salesman in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I just said that, like, that's the image I just got of. But that's a fantastic actor, great actor. I can't think of his name. The huge dude who's like a 400-pound white guy who acts in all the movies. I can't even think of his name. Anyways,
zero memory of this. If ever there is a trivia situation where you get to phone a friend and it's pop culture or whatever, I'm probably not the friend to call.
Or me.
I just don't have any recall for those kind of things.
Yeah.
Like my husband, yes, if he has ever seen it, it is locked away in his...
I'm so jealous
and
of that.
accessible. That's the other thing. You may learn it once, but I bury it under other stuff.
Yeah, me too.
He can put his fingers on it and recall like names, movies, TV shows, quotes, song titles, whatever.
What a gift.
Mm-hmm.
That's a gift. Yeah. One I don't have, and I'm quite jealous of.
Locking things away in a vault. I told you about this, but we gotta tell it again because it's an amazing story that happened this week.
Okay.
So I wrote a letter to a friend.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. There's a jingle from my childhood. I wrote a letter. Tisket a tasket. How about that? Haven't thought about that song in probably 30 years. It just triggered that. Never mind. That's not where we're going with this. I wrote a letter to a friend who was sick, and he was at the end stages of a battle with cancer. His second type of cancer, by the way. He beat the first one, and then the second one got him. But I figure that those statistics are different. Like, not everybody gets two types of cancer. That's kind of interesting. But I write him a letter and just basically saying, I'd like to come visit you. I understand if you don't want to visit her, but I really value our friendship, and we'll always remember these good memories, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Didn't hear back from him, but I kind of knew I wouldn't because it was fairly advanced at that time in his... Time passes. Eventually, I get a phone call from his mother who was going through his things after he had passed, and she saw the letter and wanted to reach out and let me know that he had passed, and she didn't realize that he had any friends. Really, he had kind of lived a different kind of life. He's the smartest person I've ever met and the funniest person, but different, different.
Different. Yeah, okay.
Not everybody's cup of tea. Probably nobody's cup of tea. Like, he's just different, but an easy candidate for fun friend to have around.
Yeah.
Anyway, she calls and
tells me. By the way, kudos to you for being able to be friends with, like, really smart guy who is not good at social interactions. Like, that's
No, it wasn't like kudos to me. Like, I was so lucky to be around him because to this day, if I think about some of the things that he said, I can still crack up about it. Like, he was so funny and so insightful. He could read people from across the room and say things that only now in the climate of conversations about mental health that we have now do I even understand.
Oh, interesting.
Like he was just kind of ahead of his time. That's all.
Like, give me an example of that. That's fascinating. I didn't realize.
I mean, some of it's kind of personal things, but I remember one time I said something in an email, and it was just one sentence that I had used to answer a question, and whenever he responded, he's like, the way that you phrase that tells me you're not even offended about the action that was taken, you're more offended about the fact that it was made public. And he was crass. He had a really crude way of talking, and he's like, you're like a guy who... No, I'm not going to even say the rest of it because it was just too crude. And that was the thing about him, is that the delivery was always crude.
Yeah, I respect that.
So you couldn't really share all of it. But nonetheless, a valued friend, and his mom reaches out to me. This was in 2013. Hadn't really had any other interaction since then. Until this week, and I get a text message, and it says, is this Hayley? This is so-and-so. I was like, well, no, that's all it said. Is this Hayley? This is so-and-so, first and last name. And I immediately knew who it was because I was sitting with him in class when he was trying to choose a name for her. He found out that his girlfriend was pregnant, and so he was anyway, he chose this name. So when she texted me, I knew immediately who it was. I'm like, oh my goodness, I remember when you were born. And she said, well, I just found your letter, and I was just wondering if my dad ever answered you. Like, I don't know if she thought maybe I didn't know he had passed away or something, but I was like, yes, like your grandmother did respond. And then I shared some like nice memories, and I asked her, I sent her a picture of a CD where he had recorded some of the songs that he wrote, because in the early 2000s, in the early aughts, guys still did that kind of thing, wrote their music and tried to sing and record it on disc and hand it out to their friends to listen to, slightly before the MySpace era. Maybe
was it really?
Maybe it was dovetailing in the MySpace era where you would have just uploaded it straight to your page and had people check it out. But she's like, no, I've never heard any of that, so I got to mail it to her.
That's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
That is
a letter
cool.
that I wrote over 10 years ago. Yeah. You got to be careful what you put in writing, because
that's right.
It will find you.
It will find you.
But isn't that? It was really nice. Like I got to tell her some nice things about her dad that I'm not sure that she's actually heard a lot of nice things about her dad.
Yeah. He's a different kind of guy. Maybe not.
Not a great relationship with his parents, and that's who raised her. Like they thought he was mean. So, and I'm sure he was, but I got to tell her some of the funny things he said. Yeah,
part of the burden of genius. Like, for sure. That's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. Yeah.
And just be careful what you put in writing. It'll resurface. You just don't know when.
Yep.
Hello, lovely friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And it would mean the world if you would tell other people about this podcast and maybe even spam your social media accounts with just how much you're enjoying it. If you are, of course. Also, commenting and rating us on whatever platform you're downloading or streaming from is incredibly helpful to a little startup podcast like this one. On the other hand, if you are dissatisfied with your listening experience, please leave all of that hate on someone else's podcast. Just maybe to confuse them a little bit, right? But most of all, we hope you keep looking up and looking for the sunny side of life.